Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway level exam and says, my 36 female daughters, 18 female friend, 18 female, stole a $4,900 watch from my husband, 56 male, and we don't know how to tell our parents. Our daughter, 18 female, has been friends with this girl, 18 female, for about 8 or 9 months, and in the last few months she has started inviting her to our house more often because they're classmates and sometimes they have projects to do together. Well, last week she came to our house and my husband, 56 male, was helping them with a project, since they are studying the same thing he studied. And at one point my youngest daughter came home with her friends, so my eldest daughter and her friend went to my husband's office. And according to him, he had taken off his watch and left it on the desk, and our daughter saw it, so he was right. But when her friend left, the watch was gone, and after searching for it throughout the house, I, 36 female, decided to check the security cameras, and she took it when she was left alone in the office for less than 5 seconds. To my surprise, my daughter wasn't surprised because, according to her, this is the third time that valuable things have disappeared from our house. The first 2 times, she stole a pair of gold earrings and a gold necklace from my daughter, and she thought she lost them because honestly she loses her things all the time. But my daughter is sure that a necklace and earrings were in her jewelry box and that her friend took them. And now my husband and I don't know if we should tell our parents, since she's stolen a significant sum of money from our house, and last thing we want is to get the police involved. We just want to get our stuff back and help her get help because she clearly has a problem. How can you talk to the parents about this without them feeling offended? In total, she stole almost $6,000 from our house, and that's not right. But she's young and we want to give her another chance. That's why we're not going to involve the police, and that's why we also want to talk to her parents. What would be the correct way to face this situation? Edit. Just to clarify, they're in college and the decision not to involve the police has to do with that. We don't want to affect her academically. I say that we want to talk to her parents because she still lives with them and they are the ones who pay for everything for her. But inquiry report says if you have actual video proof of the watch being taken, that should diffuse any awkwardness of the conversation. They won't really have a leg to stand on in terms of just defensively, you are just accusing the kid for something you lost. Being pointed about the fact that you are coming to them first, especially because she is 18. Permanent record will be hit. Should get them to accommodate getting your things back. If they are a family of scumbags and don't care, the police will be the only path you can take. Edit as far as how to punish your parent to set the kid straight. You really won't and can't have any hope or influence over that, so remove that. This has to be about getting your stuff back. Maybe you will learn from how the parents react, how they plan to address, but that's as far as you can hope. Quicksilver says, hello Mr. and Mrs. I'm contacting you because of something serious that happened. We have video proof that your daughter stole a watch that belongs to my husband and it's worth this amount. Our daughter also thinks she stole earrings and a necklace that is worth this amount. We would like to have everything back as soon as possible. We believe she is young and everybody makes mistakes, and we're willing to forget about this as long as she gives us everything she stole from us by the end of the week. Unfortunately, due to these circumstances, she is no longer welcome at our house. If they ignore you, don't send anything else, file a police report. Ice Queen says, seriously, this is why she keeps doing it, because no one is making her take accountability. Come on now. Steel Butterfly says, you are far too passive about losing $6,000. I don't care how wealthy you are, she's legally an adult and deserves adult consequences. Proper child rearing usually ensures the kid knows stealing is wrong. Talking to her parents most likely won't do anything substantial. You have video proof of her stealing, so show it to the parents first, then cops if they refuse to cooperate, and get your money back. Salamander Pop says she has a history of doing this. Do this girl a favor and call the police, then call the parents. She needs help before this turns into something that causes her to get shot or jailed for many years. You're not doing her or her parents any favors by worrying about if they'll be offended. Like, how is that even a concern here? I'm a parent of a 16-year-old, and if someone called me saying they had a video of my kid swiping a valuable, last thing that would be in my head was whether I was offended. That's crazy. Crazy talk. The OP does update their post and says, my 36 female husband, 56 male, and I decided to talk to her, 18 female, parents, 40s, because she lives with them. And we thought telling them was the best thing. But according to them, they suspected that she was doing something wrong because she was receiving more and more gifts from my daughter every day. Because that's what she said they were. We told them that our daughter only gave her a bracelet that was a birthday gift, but that the rest of the things were never gifted. Unfortunately, they weren't offended and even promised to check her room to see if they could find our things. When they checked her room and her electronics, they found even more things than we thought. She has been stealing things from our house for months to sell them online on a second-hand clothing sales app. At home, we live with 4 teenagers, 18, 16, 14, 12, who are constantly exchanging clothes, shoes, and jewelry, and often have arguments because one of them takes something from the other without permission. So when she stole several of my daughter's clothes, they never suspected it was her. She sold all the clothes she stole from them and only had my daughter's earrings and necklace, a ring from my youngest daughter, 8, and my husband's watch in her house. According to her, she did that because she wanted to help her father with some debts he has, because she didn't want to have to sacrifice college to reduce expenses. She works as a nanny and sometimes that money was enough to help her family, and she noticed that my daughter wasn't affected by losing jewelry, so she thought about taking them because she needed them more. Her parents confirmed that they had debt, but they would never have thought she would do something like this to help. They apologized and promised to return every penny of the things that were already sold, but my husband told him that it was not necessary, that her giving us back the jewelry and the watch was enough. She gave us everything back and also apologized, and we told her that this time we're not going to involve the police, but that not everyone would do the same if they caught her stealing again. We also made it clear to her that she's no longer welcome in our home, and that my daughter will finish the project for both of them because we don't want her to be involved with her either. And that was it. And we haven't heard from her since. A lot of people said we're idiots for not getting the police involved, and the truth is we might be, but we weren't going to ruin an entire family's life over a watch and some earrings. I also read comments saying that my daughter knew that she stole, but that is not the case. She loses things all the time, or sometimes her sisters take her things without permission, so she never suspected that her friend was the one stealing from her. That's why she kept inviting her over. And there was a couple of comments, saying OP kind of did the right thing here by not involving the police. But I think it's fair to say that the majority of the comments were saying, the police should have been involved in this. She's learnt no consequences and your daughter's going to have to do a project by herself. So, what is this girl going to learn? But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from the Off My Chest subreddit, and it's from HonestSky7765 and says, I just blew up at my family, and I honestly have never felt better. For some background, I, 25 male, am the only male in my family, not including my son and nephews. Over the years, I have often been the one forgotten in the family, or the one who is expected to just give things up for others. However, more often recently, there's been the constant need for favors, from building furniture to sorting out different technology to being the adult figure at an event for the younger ones, due to them being unable to make it. For example, when growing up, I would often be left home alone while the others in my family went out for meals for a girls' day. Once also being left with other family members so they could all go on holiday without me. Or I would be expected to take my dad's old clothes. He lives separately from my mum, while my sisters got brand new everything, from clothes to big trips to having their prom entirely paid for while I had to stay at home during my prom. So on to what caused me to blow up. Yesterday was Father's Day as mentioned. I have a son myself, and since I'm the only male, I am also the main role model for my nephew. I do not wish to sound whiny, but this is now the 4th year in a row I've been completely forgotten about. I'm a simple person, so I do not expect nor like big celebrations or gifts. I just wanted a simple message saying Happy Father's Day. Now, I would usually be able to ignore this and move on. However, Mother's Day in our family has always been a huge event, with constant gifts, meals, etc. Wishing for a simple message seemed so small in comparison, so I didn't feel like I was asking too much. It was not as if they had completely forgotten about it, as various family members of the family posted about Father's Day, including little posts for those who have unfortunately passed away, or are no longer part of the main family unit, like my father. So this ended with me blowing up at my family for constantly asking me for favors and to make sacrifices when I can't even get the smallest bit of acknowledgement in return. Honestly, I said a lot of things that I've been holding in for the longest time, and I don't think I've ever felt better getting it off my chest. Edit. First off, I would like to say thank you for all the support. It genuinely does mean a lot. As for what some people have been asking, I've tried to talk to my family in the past about feeling like I've been treated unfairly. Communication isn't my strong point. I was diagnosed with high-functioning autism or Asperger's last year, and it has always resulted in my family, mainly my mother and sister, accusing me of lying or misremembering stuff. As for the blow-up, it resulted in my mother lying about me getting something every single year. Not true, as I keep absolutely everything that has anything to do with my son or Father's Day. And then trying to make me feel guilty for being angry, followed by her quickly leaving the family group chat. My sister, however, quickly jumped in and started trying to belittle me as a father and defend my mother, followed by removing me from the group chat before I could reply. The only one on my side in all of this is my grandmother, who is the only one to treat me fairly. Overall, both my sister and mother completely missed the point I was trying to make and acted like I asked for a huge celebration for me, and all I had said was that I give a lot to the family. It would be nice to get a simple message from them. So there was a couple of comments to the OP which OP replied to. So someone said hugs, it took long enough. And when they keep calling, tell them no, that you have better things to do, like to hang out with your child. They want you to babysit their kids. No, I'm busy. You're a parent. You do not need to fill the role of anyone for free labor. OP says thank you for this. Unfortunately, in the past when I've told them no, it has led to me being repeatedly shouted at or guilt-tripped or just completely ignored for weeks. Someone says, what specifically did you say when you blew up? Did you blow up at everyone all at once? Was it in person? What was their reaction? OP says we have, more accurately now, had a family group chat. Just after midnight on Father's Day, I sent a simple message in there telling everyone that I will no longer be doing people favors. When asked why, I simply asked them what day it was. This was followed by my mother claiming not to have had internet connection all day, despite sharing things on Facebook throughout the day, and claiming to have gotten me something every year, which is just completely not true, as ever since my son was born. I've kept anything to do with him in various memory boxes, from cards to gifts to little school things he has done. This was followed by me calling her out personally in the chat for not making an effort with me for years, pointing out that she messaged me twice this year and visited my house 3 times in the last 3 years, but then always expected me to make constant effort for her or do favors. We live less than 10 minutes apart. My mother then left the chat and hasn't messaged me since. My sister then jumped in and started saying that I was being unfair by calling out my mother and tried to belittle me, and then quickly removed me from the group chat before I could reply. The OP updates their post and then says, for those who've seen my last post, I thought I'd give you an update. Following me blowing up at my family, I received multiple messages either belittling me, playing the victim, or calling me unfair. So after a lot of people gave me the same advice, I've decided to cut them out of my life. Mainly my mother and sister. I'm still in contact with my grandmother and younger cousins, as they have genuinely done nothing wrong and have been on my side. However, my mother has decided to be petty. In our family, each of us pays for a different streaming service and share the accounts. My mother decided to change the password to her account and kick me off of it. So I've done the same with the service that I pay for. I will, however, be logging my cousins and grandmother back into it, but not revealing the password. So yeah, I've cut off the ones who made me feel worthless, and they've decided to be petty in return. And OP gives us one more update 4 months later and says, so I wasn't actually going to do a full update, but I just came across a video containing my post and saw a lot of comments both here and on the video asking how I'm doing. So I'm doing good. I've cut all contact with my mother and sister. I haven't spoken to them in 4 months and they haven't attempted to contact me. My mother did contact my girlfriend a few weeks after the incident for an unrelated favor, but was quickly shut down. I am doing better in my own life. I have a new job, working as a data technician, and I've been feeling a lot better mentally. Overall, I have just chosen to start living a more quiet life. I will still speak to my grandmother every week and check in. On top of that, I have just been making sure I have a stress-free environment and only have people around me who will build me up and make life better, rather than those who would constantly try to drag me down. So yeah, I cut off my family and it's been great since. I'm doing better in my work life, personal life, and most importantly, I'm doing a lot better mentally. And whenever we cover stories like this these days, the question that always pops into my head now is like, what do they bring to you? What family or not, what do they bring to your life? If they're only bringing you sort of pain, taking advantage of you like in this situation, and seem to care very little about you, what are they actually bringing into your life apart from stress and damaging your own mental health? So I always ask that question. I'm glad OP made a move to cut out sort of that negativity and improve his life mentally as well. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update as yet, from Free Standard 7276, and says, am I the arsehole for telling my sister that she absolutely cannot bring her service dog to our wedding due to my wife's allergy? I, 32 male, am getting married to my long-term girlfriend Gemma, 30 female, at the end of November. Now me and Gemma are having a small wedding with only close family and friends invited, mainly because we don't want it to become an inconvenience to others, and choosing a venue is really hard due to Gemma's allergy. Gemma is allergic to dogs and is terrified of them due to a freak accident when she was younger. That's also when she found out she is allergic to them. While her allergy is not deadly, even when taking anti-allergies, her face would get significantly swollen, have red marks all over it that are visible even with heavy makeup, and she would constantly sneeze. Lockdown was a blessing in a way that she could wear a face mask that was helping with allergies. She is still trying to wear face masks to help her, but can't always do it inside, as people immediately think she is ill and don't really want to have us in their restaurants or cafes. And to the issue. My sister Kate has diabetes and has a service dog, Lenny, to help her. I absolutely adore him, and Gemma is not scared of him either. However, due to Gemma's allergies, I've reminded Kate not to take Lenny to our wedding. I was dropping some parcels for her this week as she was away, and they were sent to my house, as I believe my future wife should be able to enjoy her day without the swelling, which would be hard to avoid due to the venue being quite small and private. Gemma gets a reaction even if there's a dog in the same supermarket, even if it doesn't touch her. My sister has reminded he is a service animal, and I can't ask her to not take him, but I have told her he is still a dog, and being a service animal doesn't miraculously cancel my wife's allergies, and she knew about them from the start. I'm not asking not to take him to any family get-togethers, I'm just asking not to take him to our wedding. My sister and mum both called me an arsehole and are not talking to me and have threatened to not come to the wedding, which I said is fine, as I value my wife's comfort more. But still, am I the arsehole? And we're starting the comments with Shiny Baby Cheetah, who says, I was about to vote no one's an arsehole here until I saw how your mum and your sister reacted to your reasonable request. Threatening to boycott your wedding because her service animal can't come in is manipulative and shitty. I'm sorry you're experiencing that from your own family, OP. Not the arsehole is my verdict, and congrats on your wedding. Another commenter says, so what's your sister's solution? Having your future wife suffer at her own wedding? Is this some kind of dominance play? It's true you can't ask someone not to bring a service dog, but you can uninvite your sister. You have to stick up to your wife, and it's good you are doing so. I predict the future now and say that you have to do that more often later on, because your sister and your mother will blame your wife for choosing her stupid health over your sister's dog. Not the arsehole, prepare for more fights in the future. Edit, second language error happened. I mean, you can't ask someone not to bring a service dog as in, she can't bring it to public places by law. Asking, of course, is always possible. It made sense in my home country language. Evil Finch says, not the arsehole, there are ways for your sister to check her blood sugar without her service dog like before she got him. But there is no way for your wife to be allergy free when the dog is there. So the sis has a medical alternative, your future wife not. And overall she can decide to just stay home. It is the bride's wedding and she has a right to have a day without coughing and swellings, to have a nice memory to look back to. Sister is just a guest. I never understand how they pull others in it. Now for me, I've learned something new today. I didn't know dogs could be used for like diabetes. And I have a genuine question, which I'm going to ask you guys rather than Googling, because I like your replies and I like to get involved in the comments as well, in case you do know. And of course, I'm not trying to downplay anything or anything like that, just trying to educate myself at the same time. But is there a reason that OP would be using the dog rather than like a CGM? Like I have a friend who uses a CGM, uses a Dexcom and, you know, is on their phone and all that sort of stuff. And they get their low and high alerts through their phone. So would there be any reason that, you know, the sister wouldn't be able to just use a CGM or use, you know, and finger pricks to measure her blood throughout the day because it's just a warning system, right? That's just a genuine question because I truly don't know. Like I just said, it's the first time I've learned you can actually use a dog for this type of thing. I love a learning day, but what do you guys make of this situation? What would you suggest to it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.